Okay, so I'm going to be going over all the GJ trades for this week. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 proper setups, but don't have to take all 6. You only have to take 2 to 3. So 1 second, I'll remove all these, and then we'll start. So just gonna do some cleanup on the charts. All right, so these were the basic levels of last week. Last week's weekly high was 139.2 right here, right? So that was last week's high, and then it was also end of end of July, and we know that large moves happen beginning of and at the end of the month. So last week of July, and we pushed up. Banks secured all their positions, previous supply area, and look how clean that was. It tapped exactly exactly at 139.2 and rejected and went down almost 140 pips on Monday. So looking at Monday, so that's our main level, right? We had the 139.2, and we knew that if we created a lower high, then we would go down. And I called this. I said lower high at 139.0, and exactly what happens. But that happened in Asian. So 8:30 we pushed up, rejected 139 exactly, lower. That was a previous high, lower high, and then London was consolidating here. So if we go into lower time frame and go in here, and we see that London was, so this is, now we're entering P-London. Okay, this is 1 a.m. 1 a.m. We have this minor resistance here, right? So like right there, and we know we've created a lower high. 1 a.m. we went down, went up, kept projecting. So this is 138.5, 500 to 600. We knew that it was like either we were consolidating to move down because lower high on the higher time frames, and then we knew consolidation to move down, but we didn't know where. But this would be a safe place. It could have been a quick 30 pips or even small FTR there, so we could have gone there. But we went down and could have taken sales at even when it started closing below 500, so 430. So we had the initial move, right? This was London Open. No, 2 a.m. we pushed down, and then we pulled back up, but we still didn't break this. We didn't break this, right? So this was further indication going into like 4-hour close that could have taken a sell at 5-1 and still had like 50 pips easily, and stop loss would have only had to be like 15 pips just to be safe above that. This was also clean because once it got down, we knew that we knew that it was gonna reverse, right? Because this was most likely a liquidity grab to set up for further buys in New York. Direction shifts, market doesn't move in one direction. So when you go down to 5 minute, easily we found support at 137.800, another psychological level. And I'm just gonna scroll out to that day right here. 1 minute, 1 minute, so fucking key. 1 minute, first nice rejection right here, price consolidating, and then another rejection. So this would have been a crazy entry right at 6 a.m. Even entered once it fully rejected, such a risk fucking free trade, and then ride that shit up. I'll put it on, hold on, we'll get on the 15. So ride that up and back to this level, another 70 pips. So like 140 pips from 1 a.m. Let's say 2 a.m. right? 2 a.m. That was a liquidity grab. 2 a.m. Till 8:45 a.m. right at on near 4-hour close, 170 plus pips, 40, sorry. So that was that, and then 1 second, I'm just gonna clean it up. Then let's move into Tuesday. That was Monday. So this would have been the most optimal trade. Write that down, right? Easy 50 pips, that's all we need. 40 to 50 pips, okay? And now if we go into higher time frames, 1 hour, we'll check 1 hour and see how 1 hour is doing. So we knew that there's a high there, right? But so this is at 8 p.m. Asian. Price started creating a lower high, and even you could have moved this down a bit because it's near the 800 area, right? Even on 4 hour actually had 4 hours candle body was right at 800 here. So it's not a coincidence that the candles are not closing above here. So that was a key level. Although we rejected 139, essentially 4 hour did close below that. So that was a good indication that we didn't have to go all the way up to 139 to reject the resistance, or even 139.2. But if we kept closing below 138.8, we would have continued down, and that's exactly what happened. So we had that, and then this is 8 a.m. So 8 p.m. Sorry, closed, right? So this is actually leading up. So this is 10, 11, 12 a.m. Okay, now let's go into lower time frames. Okay, so this, we knew that right before pre-London even start, we start consolidating here. We start compressing. Okay, once we start compressing, we went down. Wow, a lower high got made. So this lower high got made. Okay, right? This is now 12:45 a.m. Okay, now we're entering pre-London. We're like, okay, this is a very key level. First, we have 138.8. First, we had consolidation here, could not break above, lower high made, new low made, and now look, this is 245, 315, 330. We push right up before we push down. So it's best that you take entries right at these levels. See, 800 right. Okay, it went up to 0.82, but exactly right at the levels. Even if we took it at 7.5-ish, right? Because this was consolidating, could have easily written that down back down to previous yesterday's low. So that was 190 pips if we took it there, and all we had to do was have a stop loss above this consolidation, because if this broke, then we would have continued. Then we could have done like 1 second, then a continuation like this up to like 139.2, but we didn't, and that's perfect, because what started happening was in 15 minute after we rejected that, we were still compressing here, right? Compression. So whenever compression breaks, we do a retest and we go down. And if I look at that in 5 minutes, it's beautiful. It is so beautiful, because look, lower time frame, you see compression, lower high, low, right? And then we had a liquidity grab right up here to 800, and then boom, we started going down. Once we had this move down, then the next one did created another higher low with this wick, lower high, and then went down. Okay, and then now we're approaching pre-New York. Pre-New York starts correcting a bit to gather more order flow, because if we can't push down, we're gonna consolidate to gather more order flow, right? Seller pressure, and then we move back down, back to daily low, and that was at 9 a.m. But by 9 a.m. usually the move is fully completed. So that one, that was Tuesday, right? Tuesday, yeah, because that was Monday, and then this is Tuesday, New York, 90 pips. So that's already, we had 140 from before, average 140, and then 91, 230 pips by Tuesday, right? And then look, we rejected this support again, right? If this level did break, then it would have been clean sells down, right? Clean sells to 137.3, this area. But we rejected it, okay? We rejected it, created a higher low, right? Then create another higher low, create another higher low. So we can see that this level is being clean rejection, right? So if we can see, that's 138.0, we're not breaking below it, right? So you go down to 15 minute, and what starts happening is we're rejecting all day. This is 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, but then when we get to the new day start, this is Asian, sorry. So this is pre-Asian, then we create a high. Now we're approaching right before pre-London. This is another higher low. Okay, so this isn't printing bearish market structure, so there's no reason to take sell. But so let's say there's a minor resistance here, but the fact that we're still like doing this, you know, essentially it would, man, I can't even draw these properly. Essentially it was like this, right? So what does pre-London love doing? Liquidity grabs. pre-London pushes down to a better price or pushes up to a better price before we start the actual move. And this was perfect because if I draw a proper trend line here, let me draw it from here, right? So if I draw a proper trend line here, right there, okay? And I show you how 1 minute acted there, it was clear buys. It was freaking clear buys, okay? So, sorry. Why is it 1 minute fucking resetting? 1 second. We should be getting there. Yeah, right here. Actually, this should do 5. So, okay. 2:25 a.m. We couldn't break this, okay? Rejected it in 140, right? So we didn't break it because there's not enough order flow. There's not enough buying pressure in the market right now. So where do we go to get that buying pressure? A better price. So we had rejection here at the trend line, lower time from trend line. Rejection here. We're still closing above 138, okay? And if all we did now was create a higher low. So 5 minute came down, create a higher low. And then 1 minute right here, you see there's another higher low there in the lower time frame before we pushed up. And if we took buys here, so I had sells here and then I got stopped out at break even, but there's no reason to take sells because you're still pushing up. So once we took buys there, we could have had stop loss even below this low, right? So you take the sells there and that's 40 pips at 500-ish, right? And then what happened was, so now we had to move up, but now look, the range to complete, this was the level 138.8, right? That was the next higher time frame level because we had this. So this is a level that had to be met. Price always has to meet, market always has to meet a price for a move to start or a move to finish, right? And price to meet was 138.8. All right, so that was the level that we were looking at. So when price reached up here, it topped out because there's not enough buying pressure. Still there isn't. So what is market gonna do? Liquidity grab if there's no buying pressure. Where's the best perfect area to enter buys? Right back here. That is literally perfect. And then look where it came, right above 138.0. So you see it bottoming out, and then you see these 5 minute candles forming, right? Could have even taken a buy here, or you could have waited for proper confirmation. But let's say you took a buy here. Your stop loss still below this low, okay? You're risking 10 pips. And now you, use the wrong one. You're risking 10 pips. Let's say even you want to do 15 pips, sure. Let's do 15 pips. So below 138 in case, right? But you're risking that. So first, already, your 40 pips, you secure here. You're like, okay, this. So essentially what happened again was this range got completed, right? But now we have enough buying pressure to push further up. And where do we push straight up? 138.8, previous level. So if we did go till there, that's easily 65 pips. So we had we have here 230, then we had another 40, this one right here, another 40, 270, and then we had like 65, right? So now we're getting it. Now we're at 335. So let's say we just counted this move, okay? 335. We just counted this move. That's it. Okay, now let's go scope out, see what the higher time frames are saying. Okay, so we got that. So 235 pip count right now. And then you see that price did make a high right now. Price broke this previous high, right? And it formed a new high, but where did it form it? Let's look at this. It formed it right at 139. So it forms at 139. You can now just put this here. So that's what I'm going to do. So right at 139. And when we go down, it rejected it. Okay. So we rejected this at like 7:30 a.m. in New York. All right. So we met this level, right? But it did push up, reject. And then what happens is price starts coming down. Price comes down and it didn't form a support at 500, but it did form it at 400. You know, it's very close, but whatever. Like, it's a $6 trillion fucking market. So, and these levels are, even if they're not perfect, they're close enough. So here we start bottoming out. This is pre-Asian, bottoms out again, reject support. And then Okay, so the thing was, if we reject this level again, we knew it was going to go up. And this was news day. This was bank rate, monetary policy, and Governor Bailey was speaking in pre-New York, so 7 a.m. So we came. I'm gonna go down to our time frames because this was probably one of the cleanest setups of the. No, it's not fast. No, we're not fast enough to read through the entire fucking policy quick enough. But the fact that 1:25 a.m. all the way to right before news that we pushed down to get better price is not a fucking coincidence. It's the fact that these are liquidity grabs. They happen for a reason. It's better price for banks and institutions to enter their positions. Pushed it down right before news release. That's a key indicator that news is probably going to go in the opposite direction because it's just grabbing liquidity to push up. Okay, even if you had a 15 pip 11 pip SL, okay, here you could have placed a stop loss down there. That's 50 pips. This was the target. I took profit at 945. Yeah, that's why I took profit. But I didn't have it late entry, so I did cut my risk in half, and I used like 1.3 lot. So I entered here. I had a 15 pip stop loss, so mine was right below. And then I did take profit at 945, so 38 pips there. But you could see how this would work. Entering here would be perfectly fine because it's so low risk and it's such a high probability that we're gonna push up right at news. And we were already in bullish momentum, right? We had bullish market structure. Like you see these, right? Like we're literally printing bulls, like, yeah, see? So these are just correction moves. As I was saying, yeah, so we pushed up. Remember how I said price has to be met for the move to start or beginning? Price was met down here. It's not a coincidence. This shit happens for a reason. It's the game. 139 was met, and how is it that these levels work exactly? Look, 139 was met, okay, but we still had buying pressure. Look, because okay, so if I go in, so during that day, I would have taken profit here because it's 50 pips and 139 was met. This price was met, so you knew that now we pushed up. There's a chance we would drop down. Okay, we dropped down 20 pips and then we started going back up, right? But as you can see, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, and then we pushed up straight to 139.2. Wow, 139.2. Coincidence? Not at all. 139.2 weekly high. Obviously, we weren't going to break it like that. And then, so we took profit there, right? Let's remove this now. Oh, you don't even have to remove it. Let's just keep it because now we're at weekly high. Oh, first rejection. Price moves down. Oh, would you look at that? Lower time frame makes a lower high. Now that's a lower high. Now look, we make another lower high. This was right at 6 a.m. pre-New York. Could have entered here. We're in it right back down. Or wherever you're satisfied. 10 pips could look easy. Or could have entered here. Once we enter here, this is nice too because this, although it would have been a bit higher, 12 pips, you're still like, come on. It's still crazy. So, 50 pips here. What were we at? 335. So 380, and then we got like 70, or even like let's say 60, 65. Right? So now we're at 450 pips for the week. And confirmations, because look, now we're rejecting lower time frame, rejecting this, right? So take everything into account. And even here, broke back below 139, which was met before. Oh, create another lower high retest. Wow, came down, not enough order flow in the market to push down to this level. What are we gonna do? Go back up, create a lower high again. Not a lower high, but retest that same level. 139 is the next level to retest, to grab more liquidity, to push price down, and then we push down. Although it didn't fully go down here, it did over the next day, but you get the gist of it. It was basically met. So, I forgot how many pips we're at. We're at like, what was it? 440, I think. Yeah. Maybe we'll calculate it at the end. So 65. All right. And then let me just delete these and then we'll look at the 1 second. This should be proper entry. 65. Let's just 65. We'll just round it down a bit because not always going to stay towards the whole move, right? And then August 6th. So let me zoom out a bit. Where are we? Yes, so today now. So this was the 6th, yeah. So Friday. Okay. So rejected weekly high, and it's quite unlikely that we're gonna break that because lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right? Okay, so we're clearly, it's Friday. There's not enough order flow in the market to break this yet, right? That's why we've been consolidating this whole week. See, we've been consolidating, so we're just playing these ranges. So not enough order flow in the market to break these levels. So to break this level weekly high, because that's a very significant level. If we look at weekly, like it's gonna take some pressure to break through it. Like we even had, this was November, right? November, yeah, all of November is consolidating. So, and then this was June. So you see, like these are major levels. So okay, this was 11 p.m. 12. Now we're at 12 a.m. Okay, if we're gonna keep going down, we obviously have to. So clearly, we don't have enough order flow to keep pushing down, right? So what's gonna happen is we're gonna pull back up. We're gonna pull back up, and look where we pulled back up to before we continue down. So it went up to 6-1. Let me go into 15 minutes. Where was it? Yeah, right here. So on 30 minute, there's a clean FTR here. See this, like this level right here. Why is it important? Because look, went down, pulled back, went down. Like it's definitely, there's some activity there that went down. Order flow is generated. It's an order block here. That's where orders are waiting. Okay. So why the fuck is this moving so slow? Okay. Plus this is near 500 level. Let's say like 5.5, because this was rejected. 130 rejected. We went up. And then kept rejecting it. So if you enter a sell, even at like 500, once this candle closed and these were retesting, could have entered here. Had a 15 pip stop loss. 15 pip stop loss is the key. And then written it right down to right above 137.8. Wow, would you look at that? Weekly low. Boom. How many times? 1, 2, 3, third time down here. What is it? Just range to range play. Oh, we rejected weekly low. Let's go to weekly high. Rejected weekly high. Let's go back down to weekly low because it's a Friday. Wow, 67 pips. Now we're at like 500 pips for the week. And that's by 9 a.m. Not a coincidence, huh? And look, so rejected. Cool. And then another retest, bro. Like these are just like, this is just, all you have to do is 15 pip stop loss. No losses at that point. And just take entries at these levels. And that was a pretty clean week. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 setups. And so many of them were clean. Such a clean setup. This could have been best setup of the week, okay? Even this, I caught these buys. This was very nice. This buy was nice, but it flipped right away. Where else? This was super nice. So that's 3 already. 3 setups. Drop like 2 lot on it. 2 lot 70 pips. 50 pips, 130, and then 67 pips. 67 pips, right? So that's 190 pips on a 2 lot. 190 times 28. That should have been $5,320 if we just waited for those moves. 15 pip stop loss on all of them. $5,320 just on 2 lot. And on a 4 lot, 3 lot, 190, 8,360. These numbers are real. Like, it's possible. Just gotta stick to the high quality setups. But yeah, that's about it for GJ. Quick breakdown.